squishy close. Get squishy close. Okay, like that.
Oh, you want me closer? I love Dr. Fish.
Okay, count down.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I'm keeping some of my rope. Oops, sorry.
Good idea.
Ooh, gotta keep those scissors.
Weapons, you know.
Exactly.
Thank you.
Joanne Lowe, and I'm the interim vice chancellor for academic affairs at City College.
My name is Min Hua Tan, the dean of the Chinatown North Beach campus.
We'd like to welcome celebrating the opening of the new Chinatown North Beach campus.
Thank you for all to come tonight.
We'd like to start by introducing our guests. Trustee John Riso, President of our Board of Trustees. Trustee Anita Greer, Vice President of the Board of Trustees. Trustee Natalie Berg. Trustee Chris Jackson. Trustee Steve No.
See you.
Trustee Rodrigo Santos. Trustee Lawrence Wong. Student Trustee William Walker. We'd also like to introduce former trustees Rodell Rodiz, Alan Wong, and I think Peter Finnegan was also going to join us this evening. Okay. Introduce our interim chancellor, Dr. Pamela Fisher. Our former chancellor, Dr. Don Griffin. Former chancellor, Dr. Philip Day. And Mr. Rafael Mandelman of the San Francisco Citizens Bond Oversight Committee.
The CCS Foundation Board Director, we would like to recognize Ms. Vanessa Rohel, Mr. Walker Newman, and Ms. Jacqueline Liu. And City and County of San Francisco would like to recognize the Honorable Edwin Ambley, Mayor of City of San Francisco. The Honorable David Chu, Chairman of the Board of Directors.
And he's also our District 3 Supervisor.
The Honorable Mania Cohen. The Honorable Phil Tang. Commissioner Cecilia Chong. Commissioner May Wu. Commissioner Irene Yi Riley. Mr. Richard Carranza, Superintendent of Schools, San Francisco Unified School District. Captain Garrett Tom, Commanding Officer.
Okay. And then we also like to recognize our guests from the consulates, Dr. Xiao Wei, who is the Education Council for the People's Republic of China. Mr. Bernhard Abel, Deputy Consul General, Consulate of Germany. The Honorable Nagesh Parhagrasti, Consul General of India. The Honorable Asiantos Siambela, Consul General of the Republic of Indonesia. The Honorable Dennis Garrison, Honorary Consul General of Lithuania. The Honorable Lilian Cosio, Honorary Consul General of Madagascar. The Honorable Jinsu Sumaya, Honorary Consul General of Mauritius. Mr. Victor Flores, Counsel for Inter-Institutional Relations for Consulate of Mexico. And the Honorable Anka Bayar Niam Dorj for Consul General of Mongolia. And the Honorable Barbara Fitka, Honorable Consul General of the Slavic Republic.
And I would like to also recognize the Honorable Senator Mark Lenos. Honorable Eric Marr, Supervisor. Shan Sito of the Foundation.
We also have some guests from the President of San Francisco State University, Dr. Leslie Wong. Dr. Frank Chong, President of Santa Rosa Junior College. And Dr. Lisa Stevens, President of the Academy of Art University. In the 33-year history of the campus, classes have been housed in over 30 different locations. We're very happy and proud to finally have a permanent home and a beautiful modern facility to train the future generations of students. This has been a 40-year journey for the community. Some of you have been with us from the start. Today we join together the community, the faculty, the students, the staff, the business community, and our neighbors and friends to start a new chapter in our history. We'd like to introduce John Riso, President of our Board of Trustees. He has been with us for the last few years helping us on this project. Trustee Riso chaired the Facilities and Information Technology Committee that monitored and watched over this project, including our local higher goals. Trustee Riso.
Trustee Riso.
Thank you. So how's everybody doing today? I thought so. You know, the opening of a new education facility is always a wonderful experience. A new facility dedicated to serving students, as is City College. This particular educational facility, though, has a long history and struggle, a lot of false starts and reboots, and now it's here. I've been working on this along with many other people for about 5 years, and I just wanted to thank some of the people that I've been working with, and I'm not going to mention everyone because there are so many people who are responsible for this wonderful facility. But the person I want to thank first is our Honorable Trustee Lawrence Wong, who we would not be here if it was not for him. I also want to thank someone who I worked very closely with during the construction of this building, and that's our previous Chancellor, Dr. Don Griffin, the Chancellor who built this facility. Through many trials and tribulations, but he got it done on time and on budget, which is a wonderful statement. I also want to thank some of the board members the members of the facilities committee who every month met and followed the progress of this facility, and that's Trustee Greer, Trustee Jackson, and our former student trustee, Jeffrey Fang, who is here in the crowd somewhere. There he is, he's over there. they all spend many, many hours poring over documents and spreadsheets and budget data, all to good cause. So with that, I want to introduce our next speaker, who came on at short notice, probably the quickest hiring of a CEO that this institution has ever done, but she's been doing a great job moving us forward, and that's Interim Chancellor Dr. Pam Fisher.
Good evening, and let me add my welcome to all of you. I just can't imagine a happier, more thrilling event. I do feel a bit like a party crasher because so many of you have worked on this for so many years. When I first arrived here the first week of May, people came to me and said, "How long are you going to be here?" "Oh, great, you're going to be here for the celebration of the Chinatown campus." And I said, "Well, tell me more about that." I've been hearing a lot about it ever since, and it's lived up to all the expectations. I do want to say welcome to all of you on behalf of the staff, the faculty, the administrators, and all the students at City College. We appreciate your support. The City of San Francisco made this possible, as did the many, many personal individual donors who came to us and did what we needed when we needed it. The most important part of it being, of course, that, and I am a little biased, and that is that the community college cause is above all, as far as I'm concerned. The movement that we're a part of, making a difference in hundreds of thousands of people's lives, changing the city, changing the state, changing the country, and I might add, as I said to the mayor, changing the world, just look around at this group, is something of which we can all be very proud. We appreciate your support. We thank you for your support. And we know that this institution and this facility is probably going to outlive just about everybody in this room. And that's a nice legacy. I feel thrilled to have been even a tiny part of whatever I could do for City College and for you inviting me to join you during this time of challenges. It's my pleasure now to introduce you to someone who needs no introduction. I have been privileged and honored to get to know him over the past few months. He's an ardent supporter of the community college movement in general and City College in particular, and the purpose behind City College. Please welcome our wonderful mayor.
Thank you, Pamela. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Chinatown North Beach City College campus. Well, it just feels like it's been a long time, but you know, it sits on a site that many of us remember. Nothing has ever come easy for our community, especially when it was on this block of the International Hotel. And many of you remember those years, and we weren't afraid of struggle. We weren't afraid of making sure that the interests of our communities was well represented, and we would fight for every inch to improve it. And so today, it's my pleasure to join all of you, to join the trustees, the interim chancellor, and all the past chancellors, the past trustees who, for many, many years, were contributing so much of their fantastic time to making sure this was a wonderful institution for all of us. To our Board of Supervisors, and no less our Board President David Chu, and Eric Marr I see, Scott Wiener I see, and others, Malia Cohn and others who are here on behalf of the board working closely with me, as well as our state representatives like Senator Leno, closely with me to make sure the topic of our education is foremost in our priorities' minds, in our budgets, in our wish for our youth to be successful, and all of the people, because City College is that very special place. It is not just our youth. It is our veterans. It is people who are trying to struggle to get the new jobs and gain the new skills. It's our immigrant families. people who don't want to also just be the janitors and the restaurant workers and the garment workers. It's the residents of our Pingyun towers, but it's all over on every economic spectrum and every walk of life. Believe that a affordable education is something within our reach so that we can improve our lives and the lives of our families. This is what City College has meant to many of us and why we joined the struggle to make sure that the site that used to be Filbert Street, where I used to go and do educational programs as a young lawyer and teach people about the warranty of habitability and how to struggle to keep their living in their low-income units and how to demand a little bit more from our government and how to do it without getting evicted. That happened at that site. But guess what? We outgrew it. And that's a good story. When you outgrow the old building, you know that more people value our community college and our city college. And so it is my pleasure to make sure that we're here on this opening day, but also to make sure you know that we working together, not just the mayor, but the mayor working with all the elected officials and the board of supervisors, join together with the trustees to guarantee City College will be us for many, many generations in the future, for all of us. We will work together to make sure that gets done. And we're not just going to do it in the form of proclamations as this opportunity gives us. We're going to also do it with the way we think. So today, it's my pleasure. And you know, William, this is really for you and some of the others that believe that we're never going to let City College go. We're never going to abandon our collective responsibilities to make sure it's successful. We're going to work really hard with our trustees and our interim chancellor and the state to make sure it's successful. And that's why I want to announce tonight that I will personally be endorsing Proposition A, the parcel tax, for City College, making sure we work together to get the resources necessary to keep our City College successful. And it's in that mind and with the united front that we have with all the elected officials that we congratulate on this opening, that we know there's more to it than just the brick and mortar here. The most important thing about education is the people. And this is a promise for all of the generations of immigrants to come, that we know it used to be a Filbert and now here. And we know what a great sacrifice it is to be good citizens and successful residents of this city of San Francisco. We know why some of you who were former students that graduated here felt so appreciative of the education that we got, that you went all the way back and asked friends in Hong Kong and in China to help donate money to help build this place. I know that Lawrence Swan gave up a lot of trips to Brazil to make sure that he stood up and got some extra attention for this building. Because if you look around and some of the things I'm really proud of, we just didn't build the building. We also wanted to design it to make sure that the attributes of our community and our culture was well represented. So some of the nicer things that you see that we will appreciate for years to come were done out of personal sacrifice from people who were part of this institution, both current and in the past. And I see Henry Durr over there as well. Henry, thank you for all your wonderful years at CAA and education. Because I know you fought really, really hard to make sure that this building got up and that education continued to be at the forefront of everything we do. These are people that I worked with, that I had a chance to really serve the community with. And so on behalf of my office, on behalf of the city, and I know our Board of Supervisors joins with me because they did the same thing just this past week in passing their resolution and proclamation in concert with us to proclaim this today to be City College of San Francisco Chinatown North Beach Campus Day in San Francisco. Please come up, Joan, and then accept us. Let's keep it up. Let's give our trustees support. Let's make sure we have great dialogue. Let's make sure that we don't hide from the tough questions we're about to face in the coming months, because we do have some tough questions. But let's look at the promise of City College. Let's look at the people we've graduated. Let's look at success that we've had as a community. Put that in front of us. We're going to work hard. We're going to make sure our City College is successful. Thank you very much for this opening and joining all of us. Role today is then to also, and I've said earlier, a personal thank you, but to welcome up here your current trustee. One has personal sacrifice for not only making sure this building got up, but I saw him month after month, day after day, with all of the different family associations talking about the vision that we had to get this building built, get out of Filbert, the seismically challenged building that we had for many years. And that's Trustee Lawrence Long. Come on up, man.
Wow. Isn't it beautiful? Isn't it? It's funny because I think I've known Mayor Ed Lee longer than anybody in this room except for my family. And so it's a tremendous honor. I remember Ed when, are you leaving Ed? Where are you, Ed? Oh, there you are. When Ed got started actually as the executive director of the Human Rights Commission. Remember? And I was a San Francisco Human Rights appointed commissioner. And I said to myself, my God, this guy is so capable, so competent. But little did I know that after all these years, you would become the mayor, the first Asian American mayor of the city and county of San Francisco. And I don't know whether to offer my congratulations or condolences. But I am so proud to consider you as one of my fellow Chinese community activists. Now, you know, I was thinking today, excuse me. Thank you, Mark Leno. Is that Mark Leno? Thank you. Good friend of mine, one of my dearest friends. You know, I was thinking today, and I do everything at the last minute, what am I going to say? So I sat down, I said, you know, I really should put something down because it's a big moment, not for myself personally, but for all of us. And then the song came on the radio that I'm sure many of you have heard before, The Impossible Dream, right? Yeah? So I was thinking, oh, the universe is sending me a message here, you know, the cosmos. And so I listened to the radio, and I remember when the planners of this event said, Lawrence, you cannot speak more than 5 minutes. And I said, oh, no problem. I lied. Because how can you thank so many people who have done so much in 5 minutes? You know, in 1994, think back before many of you were born, actually. In 1994, I campaigned for the College Board, and I went to the then Dean Joanne Lowe, and Joanne said to me, Lawrence, we will support you, I will support you, but build us a Chinatown North Beach campus. So, and actually everywhere I went in the Chinese community in Chinatown, that was the refrain again and again. They said, we have been asking for this campus for over 20 years. At that time, 20 years, It has not been a priority. Nobody listens to us. And I'm being so naive. I said, sure. I'll build you a Chinatown campus if I'm elected. So easy to say yes. Little did I know. That was in 1994, my friends. And so in 1995, I was sworn into the College Board and decided to make it a priority. I see Filting there. Filting, you remember. And I then spoke to the then Chancellor Dow Anderson, and she said, Lawrence, yes, we will make it a priority. And then I spoke to my colleagues on the College Board at that time, and they said, yes, Lawrence, we will make it a priority, but we had no money. We had no land. We had nothing, but it was a dream. Then came Chancellor Phil Day, who, as we all know, is a force of nature. And for 10 years, he did make it a priority by raising the funds and making sure we had the political muscle to build this campus. And then we had Chancellor Don Griffin, who made sure that he oversaw the construction personally and that we were on budget with our facilities committee. And Don Griffin, God bless you, you're here also to see the opening of this campus. So, Don, I just talked about you. I want to cover all my bases here. I don't want to hear later on. So through all the bond measures, the political oppositions, the lawsuits, the countless meetings, I never doubted. And I have to tell you that. I have never, you're telling me to get off? I have never doubted, I'm sorry, I have the microphone. I have never doubted that this campus would be built when nobody believed me, and I ran in 5 College Board campaigns, and I said the same thing over and over and over again, and they dismissed me, and they dismissed this whole idea. I said, okay, in Chinese, 冇錢冇地，你講乜嘢啊? So now we have the money. And we have the money through the bond measures. We have the land, thanks to Pius Lee. And now, all we needed was the resolve of the College Board. And let me digress for a moment here. You know, when I was growing up, my heroes were Martin Luther King and Cesar Chavez. But I didn't see any community activists, civil rights activists that looked like me, that looked like many of us. And then on television and in the newspapers, I saw 2 Asians. And they were speaking always passionately about Asian American civil rights. Well, they were Professor Ling Chi Wang and Henry Durr. And when I was actually quite despairing, it was coming down to a crucial vote in 2007 and then 2008 for the College Board to support this campus. They came to the fore, they organized the community rose up, probably one of the first few times in the history of the Chinese community in San Francisco. They rose up from the ground and they say, we wanted this campus, we're fighting for this campus, and you better vote for this campus. And guess what? We passed it and we got the campus. Yeah! So this campus has been built. Henry and all those community activists, Ling Chi Wang, and all of us, and you know who you are, all those old-timers, we built it for current generations and for future generations yet unborn. Our community, I'm almost finished, guys, don't worry. You know, our forefathers came here to build the railroads. They came here to build the railroads, but really to build a better life for themselves and their families. They would be so proud. They would be so proud to know that their great grandchildren built this campus so that our community can continue to have a better future for generations yet unborn. Yes. And before I get off, I really need to do this. I need to thank my parents. I need to thank, and they're sitting right up there, my 81-year-old mother, Helen Wong, my 91-year-old father, Henry Wong, my 92-year-old Auntie Lily, who is a major benefactor, by the way, to this campus. I want to thank them because for 18 years, they were wondering, why am I on the college board and not out making more money? Typical Chinese parents. And they saw the suffering that I went through, that you went through, that we all went through, but this is the result of it. So, getting back to that song, The Impossible Dream, okay, I'm finished.
From the start, and I also saw a couple of other guests that have come in since we did the introductions. Judge Julie Tang, who's also a former member of our Board of Trustees. And I also wanted to acknowledge Dave Lee. He's sitting up here. Dave was our volunteer. He did interviews and resumes from you when he worked for EHDD. This celebration really is for all of us, and I hope you'll understand why I say there is no way that we would be able to thank all of the people over the years who have really supported us. But I also wanted to acknowledge our designers, EHDD, Barcelona and Jang, Len Lease, our general contractors, Structus, our structural engineers, so that's why this building isn't going to fall down, and Swinnerton, who really helped work with us and get this project done.
And we'd like to thank the Chinatown North Beach Advisory Committee, the Friends of Education Opportunity of Chinatown, Chinatown Financial District, Chinatown.
We're going to move on to the ribbon cutting, and then we're going to then have some music.
How important is this campus for the city, for the Chinatown?
This is a very important opening ceremony because with all the negative news that we receive, the opening is significant because it allowed the community to know that the community have been waiting for 40 years for this campus to open, and we educated about 7,000 to 8,000 students a year.
And how many students are you serving here?
We are serving 7,000 at this moment, and we're looking forward to expand the educational program in the spring semester.
How many classes?
We have 155 non-credit section and 20 credit sections. And all this are educating students from citizenship to literacy, to job preparation, to business courses, architecture, fashion, child development, and science.